money as a tool to advance his kingdom, pursue wisdom, practice generosity, and God's resources in a community with others who share your faith. Visit faithfi.com to take the next step in your faith and financial journey today. That's faith.
Take the first step toward peace and financial freedom today. Visit ChristianCreditCounselors.org. That's ChristianCreditCounselors.org.
This is American Family Radio, the listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
Great to have you with us today on Faith and Finance here at American Family Radio. I'm Rob West. We're taking your calls and questions while Mark Miller's here today. Mark is executive editor at SoundMindInvesting.org, and we're talking about the wisdom of Warren Buffett. There's a great article from SMI at SoundMindInvesting.org. It's called just that, The Wisdom of Warren Buffett. Check it out. We'll be headed back to the phones here in just a moment. Sandra, I know you've been holding in Mississippi. We'll get to you next. And we do have room for a few more questions, especially those on investing or market-related topics. Call right now, 800-525-7000. Mark, we've been unpacking some of these quotes from Warren Buffett that are just gems. Any others that stand out to you?
Yeah, there were a few. There are really so many, Rob. We couldn't even include them all in the article, but a few more favorites that I really liked. One is, games are won by players who focus on the playing field, not by those whose eyes are glued to the scoreboard. So in other words, follow your investment process and let the outcomes take care of themselves.
Love it.
Another one that I liked was, success in investing doesn't correlate with IQ. What you need is the temperament to control the urges that get other people into trouble in investing.
Wow.
In other words, a lot of risks that come with the territory of investing, but the biggest risk for most investors is letting their emotions take over their decision making. Maybe one more here. Whether we're talking about socks or stocks, I like buying quality merchandise when it's marked down. You know, I think it's pretty ironic, Rob, that stocks are the one thing that people want to buy more of when they go up in price, but then become too afraid to buy when the prices decline.
Yeah, well, no doubt about that. Discipline that Warren Buffett exercised, a lot of that goes back to what we even talked about earlier, which is just his ability to not let global events dampen his enthusiasm. You know, it's all about staying the course and trusting the process. What about embracing, new technologies? For instance, did he embrace the crypto space? And how did he adapt along the way to some of those newer technologies?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's kind of fascinating. And I'm not an expert in Buffett, but I do remember when I was first getting into the business, over 25 years ago in the late 90s, Buffett was pretty famous for kind of the, if I don't understand it, I'm not investing in it, and like all this internet stuff, I don't understand it, so I'm staying away. So he kind of famously stayed away from tech, and of course, as the dot-com boom happened, a lot of people pointed at old stodgy Buffett as being a dinosaur, and he did underperform during those years, but as these things happened, the cycle turned, we got the dot-com bust, and he looked like a genius as a lot of these high-flying tech stocks took a nosedive, and he did really well during that following period. So I would say overall, Rob, he has always been kind of resistant to the latest, greatest new thing. I don't think he had favorable views at all about crypto or Bitcoin or any of that. It was in his stay away bucket. But like I said earlier, even though he had that overarching, it's not like he would never touch any of that stuff. And so, he came around to the value side of Apple, even though that was obviously a very growthy tech stock. And he built a huge position in Apple. It may have been his largest position at one point. So he was kind of selective, but with more of the little bit of a grumpy old man attitude as it applied to the new tech, the new companies, the new latest, greatest thing. He was definitely an old school value investor, and he wanted to see the value of the company, the ability of it to turn sales into profits, into, wealth for the shareholders. So that's what he was really all about.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and it worked quite well for him.
Yeah.
We'll get to his generosity here in just a moment. Let's head back to the phones, though. Sandra's been waiting patiently in Mississippi. Sandra, go right ahead.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Rob and Mars. Thank you for taking my call.
Of course.
I wanted to say to you that I was planning on calling today anyway, but when I heard that Mark was going to be on there, while making my phone call, I knew that the Holy Spirit decided this call, and I want to thank y'all for being vessels for this. I do have, yes, absolutely, I do believe in I do believe that it's guided. I do presently have 2 fixed annuities, insurance annuities, IRAs, that I've been audited in for 7 years. One has a 10-year surrender clause, and the other has a 12-year. I'm not satisfied with. I call him an advisor on those plans. I'm not annuities. I'm not sure if I'm saying the right term for him, but I wanted to change if there's a possibility changing him to someone else, or Mark looking at sound on investing if I were to want to turn them all, change all that cash amount and move over to my Schwab account that I have right now that I'm looking at, the CKA reporting. I got all this stuff going on. But first of all, can I change an advisor? If not, what is your recommendation as to closing this out and putting it into an IRA Schwab to invest with CKA's help?
Yeah, very good, Sandra. Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, so there's a lot there, Sandra. Good questions. Do you know how those annuities are invested right now?
To a degree, I do. I know the strategies. I know the strategies change every 2 years.
Okay.
It's New Heights. Nationwide is under a New Heights strategy. Does that tell you anything?
Not a lot, but generally what happens within there are different types of annuities, of course, but oftentimes you can change the investing strategy, and that might be a conversation to have with the person that you bought the annuities through. It may be tricky to get to a different person within that same annuity company. That might be complicated, and especially on the one where you're only 3 years away. Of course, depending on what the surrender charges are, I'd be hesitant to recommend that, just because those can be pretty severe. Do you know offhand what the surrender charges are to get out of that?
10-year one. Yes, sir, the 10-year one right now. Are you still there? Okay, the 10-year one right now looks like it looks like it would be a 3% withdrawal charge, and I do change strategies every 2 years. I do have that option, and that comes up every 2 years on both of these annuities to change the strategies. There's only a couple of choices. But yes, on the 10-year one with Nationwide is a 3% withdrawal.
Let's do this. These are great questions, Sandra. We're up against a break here, but let's visit off the air here for just a moment. Mark and I will be able to chat with you a bit more. And and let's see if we can get you pointed in the right direction. I know these are weighing on you. You've got some decisions coming up here, and we want to make sure we give you some good counsel. So stay right there. Curtis, Laura, we'll try to get to you in the next segment. Mark Miller here today. We'll be right back on Faith and Finance.
Faith and Finance is underwritten by Certified Kingdom Advisor Kevin Bruce from Aligned Investment Research, helping families across Collin County honor God by stewarding wealth with wisdom and purpose. Because true peace of mind comes from aligning wealth with God's design. Learn more at align7.com. Call 972-972-8465. 972-972-8465. Align is a registered investment advisor.
The Giants are too big. We need to be like Joshua and Caleb and say, you know what, there are giants. This is a massive problem. When you have a nation that is of the principles that produce a free society, start where you can. I know, it's a little bit at a time.
As they tackle today's issues from a biblical and constitutional perspective. At the core, 1 p.m. Central weekdays on AFR.
We're grateful for support from Guidestone, whose diversified suite of investment solutions aligned with Christian values to create positive change in the world. More information is available at guidestonefunds.com/main. Investigate all risk, including potential loss of principal. Carefully consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses.
How much time, that's a fraction of time we've been on the planet. And actually, back in our planet's past, there have been some even larger types of volcanic eruptions than those we've seen. So some really important ones are things called large igneous provinces. These are dotted all around the globe. There are enormous outpourings of lava flows, stack upon stack of lava flow. And a great example, which is in fact the youngest example, is the Columbia River flood basalts, which is around the Columbia River, not far from where you were described earlier, in fact, gazing on Mount St. Helens. So up in the northwest United States. Now these are very different types of eruptions, something like Mount St. Helens. These are really prolonged events. They last roughly 1 million years of our planet's history, and they kind of double the rate of volcanism on our planet during those million years. So as well as pumping out all that lava, they're also pumping out loads of gas onto the surface of the planet and changing the chemistry.
Of Warren Buffett. Let's go back to the phones. Mark is here helping me tag team on your questions today, specifically those around investing and your portfolio. We're going to head out to West Virginia. Hi, Curtis. Go ahead.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I'm 64, and next year I have to help engine start invested because I'm going to work until I'm 70, and I'm a 1099 right now. What would you suggest I put in? And, you know, the investment very aggressive with it. So that's my
Yeah, very good. Mark, your thoughts?
Yeah, Curtis, do you have other investments that this is kind of a part of a portfolio, or how does that look?
Well, I'm investing in cars and trucks and tractors, land. So
yeah,
that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Well, generally speaking, Curtis, the aggressive path are the best against the stock market path. And so normally when someone's close to retirement age, advisors would tell you kind of the stock market percentage and more money things, fixed income investments, that sort of thing. Now, to the degree that you want to be aggressive with this, that to me says we probably want to look at the stock market here, and that's not aggressive in the sense of like crypto, where you could pick all you're probably not going to lose it all in stocks, but you could in the course of a 5 to 10 year investment period, you could go through a bear market where you lose 40% to come back. So that's why advisors are nervous about older folks putting money into the stock market, because if you have those downturns, The easiest way to invest in stocks is through an index fund that buys the whole market. Of course, there are other ways that you can be a little more aggressive. We have some.
The in Australia. And when the strategy in Australia, I'm actually working on the fragments in the geological period of volcanism in Siberian traps, because the temperatures were warming certain areas of the planet. Parts of Los Angeles is on fire right now. Again, it was in the news this morning. So, with this increase in wildfire activity going on across the planet, for me, that's very, very sobering, because these are the things we see in the geological record associated with these really catastrophic periods.
With some gusty winds. It'll be windy on Sunday, hot, a high of...
Jason Evans, I spent the last 3.5 decades helping companies create serious business breakthroughs, and I want to help you like never before. I built a serious training program called 3 Ways to Double Sales in 12 Months. We're going to give this to any business owner that calls us at 800-500-8320. Just call with your email address, and we'll email you this phenomenal video training program at our expense, not yours. It's an incredible gift. See if you agree. 3 Ways to Double Sales in 12 months.
To Jason's training less than a year ago. This year alone, Jason has made my training explode as far as my sales growth by over 250%. I'm expecting on doing close to $5 to $6 million gross this year just off of his training.
Again, call with your email address and we'll give you a program that others have paid dearly to receive. 800-500-8320. 800-500-8320. That's 800-500.
Injury law firm. For over 40 years, my family's represented injured North Texans. We've been the largest personal injury settlements in the entire state of Texas. The last 4 years, we made the top 50 list 58 times, top 100 list 99 times. Last year, 24, 29 of the top 100 largest reported cases in the entire state of Texas. Trust the family that fights for yours. Call now for a free consultation. 214-INJURED. MullenandMullen.com. No recovery, no expensive fees. Been that way since '83.
Is your garage door moaning and groaning? Don't ignore it. Call the Garage Door Doctor today. For just $129, get a full garage door tune-up. 10 free nylon rollers and a free 29-point inspection. You're going to save over $500. Call 469-489-3834. Garage Door Doctor is fully insured and pre-qualified by Check-A-Pro. Call now, 469-489-3834. Call now before your door gives out for good.
If you are thinking about selling your home, now is the time. Home prices continue to be strong, and you can sell your home stress-free with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Hi, I'm Taylor, and I sold my home with Mark Spain Real Estate. Their offers are the strongest in the industry, and you can sell your home stress-free, make the most money, and move when you're ready. One of their clients, AB, said, Mark Spain Real Estate's knowledge of the market and strategy made selling my home simple. I've already recommended them to 2 of my good friends, and when I'm looking to sell again, I will call Mark Spain Real Estate. Don't worry about the hassle of constant cleaning and making costly home repairs. With a guaranteed offer, there are no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Their guaranteed offer keeps you in control. Mark Spain Real Estate has been in business for nearly 30 years and has served over 50,000 satisfied clients, and they know what matters most: a quick sale and maximum profit. Find out what your guaranteed offer would be. There's no obligation. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com, and start packing.
Our boy Brian Kilmeade here. Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins next at noon on 570 KLIF and 96.3 FM HD2.
Information you want, truth you demand. This is the Brian Kilmeade Show.
Donald Trump wants to stage a UFC fight on the White House lawn. The last time he staged a fight in D.C., Mike Pence almost died. Actually, there was supposed to be an Epstein joke here, but as it got deleted. Must have probably deleted itself, right? Probably never existed, actually. Let's move on as a country and ignore that.
That was great. Just some of the ESPYs last night. I think that was Shane Gillis was fantastic. I think it was pretty
Pretty good. Think the perfect guy. But he always has a feeling like he's uncomfortable. Is that his thing? Or is it just because he didn't write the stuff?
No, I mean, I think he wrote some of it at least, but I think that's his delivery, because it definitely is uncomfortable watching him. Right? It doesn't flow, but that's his thing. He also does a really good Trump impression.
Did he do it last night?
He did. I don't have those cuts because sort of just telling the story of like when he met Trump, I think at the Super Bowl. But when he talks like Trump, he's on point. We'll get it for later on the show.
All right. The other thing I thought was interesting is Jason Kelsey, his podcast on with his brother yesterday, said, I'm used to being told what to do. That's what I do. I want my wife to nag me. Cut 41.
What I respond to really well is nagging. Please nag out of me. Tell me to get my lady up and take trash out. And she's like, Jason, I don't want to tell you to do these things. So I'm like, I get that. But you know, it's not going to get done unless you tell me to do it. I've been coached my whole life. I want people to tell me. Otherwise, I need that. I need that coaching.
Yeah, but isn't he also a captain? Captains are supposed to lead.
They're supposed to lead, but I understand the coaching though, like wanting to be told what to do. If he's always like been the athlete,
you shouldn't want to be told what to do. To me,
it's fair, but
so I asked Gronk that, Rob Gronkowski. I played that clip, and here's what he told me on Fox and Friends, Cup 42.
I do need to be nagged in ways, and that's actually why I loved the reason why I loved going to the New England Patriots when I got drafted there is because Coach Belichick and Tom Brady and all my other coaches were always nagging me to be a better player out on the football field and always yell.
Good Karma Cigars. 6 till 8. Rhonda's there. And the author that she is squiring through the release of his great book, Jupiter's Ghost, great sci-fi. David Gwynn, meet him, meet Rhonda.